Marvel fans, hold on to your butts. We've got an official update about Deadpool 3 coming into the MCU with Ryan Reynolds, and it also proves that many a fan were wrong about Disney. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button. I wanted to let everybody know that a lot of what we are doing with the Den of Nerds in 2021 is happening over on our live streaming channel where we live stream all the time. If you haven't checked it out, please go do so. Now, this news is the news of the day. Let's talk about what is officially being discussed here in this news, and let's sort of break it down and speculate on what we think it means. This is coming from a sit-down from Kevin Feige with Collider, in which he said about Deadpool, it will be rated R, and we are working on a script right now, and Ryan's overseeing a script right now. It will not be filming this year. Ryan is a very busy, very successful actor. We've got a number of things we've already announced that we now have to make, but it's exciting for it to have begun. Again, a very different type of character in the MCU, and Ryan is a force of nature, which is just awesome to see him bring that character to life. Okay, so several different things going on here. I think number one, the first place my mind goes to is where Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld had criticized Marvel and Marvel's current plans for the Deadpool character before an official announcement was being made. Now, we had known that stuff was going on behind the scenes due to some stuff that Ryan was saying on different talk shows and on social media, which we'll get into in a second. But mainly I wanted to talk about how Rob Liefeld said, you know what the plan is for Deadpool? 5 years or more down the road, and they're not going to do it. You know what I mean? So it looks as though that is not the case. And I know there was a lot of contention between Deadpool fans and Marvel fans with regards to the future of this Deadpool character. There were a lot of people that were like, hey man, I don't even trust Deadpool over at Marvel Studios. I don't even want to see that. And I think much of that was because people thought they would Disneyfy it. They would not make it R-rated. They wouldn't let it live the way it did before. But the times they are a-changing, and in that sense, fans were dead wrong about what Disney's willing to do, what Kevin Feige is willing to do, and what the future of MCU content is going to look like. Deadpool will be rated R. It will be in the MCU. It will get Marvel branding, and Disney will just likely be very careful about letting fans know that it is an R-rated film. Now, we had heard stories about how there's a function likely coming to Disney Plus, which will have more adult stuff in a section that you can't just easily get to for, you know, protections of families and children and things like that. And even more so, this looks to be what they are actually going to do with Disney Plus, with properties like Deadpool, which is really exciting. It allows Marvel to have that edge, which I personally think it really does need moving forward. Now, let's go back to some things that Ryan Reynolds has said. You know, late last year and late even in 2019, Reynolds was teasing, talking about getting started working on the Deadpool project. I believe I remember interviews in the beginning of 2020 where Ryan was discussing the fact that, yes, they're working on the next film. They're over at Marvel Studios. They're in the big leagues now, etc., etc. We've also heard it rumored that Ryan Reynolds, just a couple of months ago, signed one of the biggest MCU contracts ever, and that Deadpool is likely to not just be appearing in Deadpool 3, but might start showing up in other Disney Plus stuff almost immediately, which is going to lead into some big speculation that I want to get into in a second, but let's just keep going on the things we have heard about Deadpool 3. Now, the only other thing that's really official in here is that it will not be filming this year, and Feige is speaking to the fact that they have so much coming out, and they're going to have to figure that out. Now, also, he's been hitting press pretty hard recently with that new chill beard look. Way to go, brother. But he's also made it seem like, you know, even Black Widow could technically be delayed, and that they are really trying to hold to theatrical releases, which we will discuss in other videos and over on the live streaming channel. But really, the big news here, Deadpool confirmed, Feige himself talking about how not only is it going to be rated R, but Ryan Reynolds is really developing the story and script, meaning it is likely to very much be in the vein of the Deadpool we had before, and they have likely been just trying to figure out the minutia of how that's all going to work together. And now let's get into the speculation. Take my hand. Let's go to Speculation Town. It is absolutely perfect that Deadpool is coming in at a time when Feige is doing all sorts of other things with the multiverse. There are tons of rumors at this point, a lot of them pretty well verified about crazy things that are going to be happening, not only in WandaVision, in Spider-Man 3, but also in Doctor Strange 2, Into the Multiverse of Madness. They are doing very interesting things. We have heard rumors of Hugh Jackman appearing in Doctor Strange 2. We have heard rumors, of course, of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, a lot of their, respective Sinister Six peeps showing up in Spider-Man 3. The latest rumor, which I discussed on the live stream, and we'll do an edited version of that live stream for you later tonight, is all about the fact that Tony Stark is rumored to be in Spider-Man 3 as well, and perhaps have some closure with the Peter Parker character. So with all of this craziness and going into the Fox universe maybe, and going into the Sony universe maybe, and all this wildness, it is absolutely brilliant and perfect to have a character like Deadpool, which I do believe they're going to start using pretty much immediately in post-credit scenes, because his fourth wall breaking humor allows for the perfect narrative tool to help the audience along as we go through this very bizarre multiverse quantum mania type thing that we are going to go through in the next several years of the MCU. And actually, this is where I really want to take my speculation about what I think the movie could be. And in my opinion, I think the Deadpool 3 film will be another sort of quantum multiversal movie, and I think it's going to be just a lot of fun. And rather, I think the most important thing is it'll be sort of disconnected from what's happening in the MCU proper, okay? Now, we're going deep time nerdy theories here, but I believe we are headed eventually towards a Secret Wars type reset or reboot on the MCU, and right now we are going through this phase in Marvel where things are just going to be crazy. All sorts of new characters are going to be introduced. All sorts of new things are going to happen. Total collapse of the multiverse, different things, connective tissue, all this craziness, which will eventually lead to Secret Wars, which will eventually reset a status quo. And I think Deadpool, if it were a film that was going to tie in to that 5-year plan, to the setup to potentially Secret Wars or Secret Invasion that then becomes Secret Wars or something like that, that setup, it would be very difficult to just plug Deadpool into that. However, if the plan is through the multiverse, you can actually write and create a story like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe and literally do that, and then have it like either not happen or happen in a parallel universe or something to that effect. You sort of bend the rules and allow a character like Deadpool to have a crazy story, interact with MCU characters, have a lot of different fun, but also kind of remain isolated from the rest of the MCU canon. And this is a tactic that I think Feige is also using with the Sony characters. I believe during 2020, during, the quarantine and all of this time of planning, I think Feige was doing all of these different deals and sort of, just generally helping to craft and refine the journey forward for this universe, for these characters, and for these stories. And I believe he figured out a way to isolate the MCU from the Sony Marvel Universe and yet still have some interaction with them. And I think he is doing the same to the Fox universes, including Deadpool's universe. Deadpool is just unique in the way that he can actually address this and actually talk to the audience about it. And so final speculative predictions here. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that they will film a ton of post-credit scenes with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. He will be popping up all over the place in Marvel moving forward. They'll get a lot of bang for their buck with Ryan Reynolds popping up, like, I think a lot. Okay, so that's my first gut level feeling. Second feeling, we'll get something wild AF and multiverse related with Deadpool 3, and you will see the model established, much like they do in the comic books, where like the mainline Marvel storyline is going to be Feige's storyline, and then sort of the tie-ins are going to be the Sony Marvel Universe, the Fox Marvel Universes, and this is all going to play together as he builds the multiverse and heads towards Secret Wars. Or maybe I've just had way too much coffee as per usual, and I am just nerding out so effing hard. Either way, let us know what you're thinking about this in the comment section below. Go check out the live streaming channel. We do so much fun stuff over there. Go check it out. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.